Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sparrows here on Roll for Chaos. How are you out there? Hope that the end of the world has not stopped you from coming here and watching our show. Hasn't? Okay, good. Fine. Nice to see you. So we're gonna go around the table today. We're gonna go here at random. We're just gonna say, "Hey, who are we playing?" Let's remind ourselves of who we're playing, because some of us might not be aware of who they're playing, and some of us might not be playing the same person anymore, or maybe some of us are having some sort of existential crisis and mental breakdown, and it's causing us to think we're somebody that we're actually not. And maybe we just need to check ourselves just a little bit and realize there is a reason for our mothers to be proud of us. So we're gonna go ahead and go around the table. First one to go tonight's going to be Beatrix. Look at you with the new art, Gwen.
I know, I'm super excited. B is extra cute. She always was, but now visually she's even cuter. Hi everybody, happy to be here. My name's Gwen, also known as McSherry, and it's a great Friday, and I'm super excited to let B crazy. She's ready to burn down the Empire, so let's go.
Made good choice. Good choice. Burn it down. Burn it all down. Burn it to the ground. So we'll continue on. We're gonna go counterclockwise this time. So Leife, you're up. Kai, your turn.
These are tricks, deceits. You fooled me into thinking I had more. My name's Kai Roche. I play Leife, pirate, skater, ninja, a lot of things.
Captain.
No. And he's in a current situation of seeing, everybody is, seeing two very familiar people fall. You were a father to me, Captain.
That is an unfortunate circumstance from last episode, but I'm sure there won't be any fallout or emotional difficulties involved in this, future. All of you are cold-hearted, cutthroat, pirate-type ninjas, some of you, magicians and religious figureheads or whatever. All right, speaking of religious figureheads, let's talk to Benjamin about, who is that face? That's not Red Iron.
Hey everybody, I'm TT Benjamin, and I'm dead inside. Also, my character died last week, so I'm playing someone that you haven't met yet, and I'm just there. You'll see.
You'll see. He's warning you. You'll see. We'll move right along over to Nora and Clarion.
Hi, I'm Nora, and I'm not dead yet. I feel happy. And I'm playing Clarion Bell, your robot medic. And what else were we supposed to talk about?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just happy to be here.
Well, we're glad you're happy to be here. We'll move right along to Jackal. Who are you playing? And remind us who they are.
Hey folks, I'm Cam Badger Rogue. I normally do the recaps, and I play Amos Nosendi, the human target human? Very
Folk.
much not very in the thing that refuses to die, the thing that cannot die. Too angry to die. Also the father figure for the ship. At least they try to be the father figure. Back to you, Ty.
Father Amos. Someone who is not overbearing in any way sometimes.
I resent that, as you were.
Moving right along to Stratful and Nohu.
Hello everybody, I'm Stratful, playing as Nahu, the great adventurer, future hero that sacrificed himself for the good of the ship. And yes, if things continue to be as hectic as they are right now without the captain's position being fulfilled, he will step up to lead everyone. He has already been the leader of a group of like 5 people and a cat for like a month or something like that, and they're doing right. They're chugging along. Obviously, no sort of like psychological trauma or damage to them done whatsoever. So yeah. Vote no who.
They were all fine. Vote no who. We gotta get that on a bumper sticker. So as a recap to what has occurred last week, a whole lot of crazy shit happened. 2 people died, and it wasn't great. It was bad times. It was bad times all around. And now the crew being left without their captain after being ambushed by a bounty hunter, very powerful one at that. But things were looking very desperate and very dark. One of our players sacrificed themselves to save the others. In the aftermath of that, they drove off some of these other mercenaries who really were only in it for the money. And when their money source was gone, they turned tail and fled, or were forcibly ejected, or forcibly turned into paste on the deck of the ship,
Or consumed.
Or consumed.
Just
And
putting that out there.
and then there was the aftermath. There was the wake, if you want to call it that. There was the send-off for the 2 souls that were such integral parts of the crew at a previous point in time, and then there was a decision to be made about who was going to lead, and a trip that was going to be made to Saberhold in an effort to re-bolster the crew and to make sure the ship was in ship-top shape before the trip to Myosinus to deal with some loose threads and with the potential future involving one prince of the elves. So, the first scene that we come upon is Leifei. Leifei, after putting the captain to rest, after you had the ritual, as you gathered what remnants were left and went into the captain's quarters, whether or not you're going to take them or somebody else is going to fill them, these personal items and effects need to be handled with care, and you're not entirely certain where to send any of them because you were all Cutlass's family. He no longer had another one other than, I guess, the Sparrows in general, maybe the Admiral, maybe some of the crew from his old ship a long time ago. You, of course, are standing there holding his hat, wringing it in both of your hands, and inside of his room you see Cutlass's namesake. The Cutlass itself, like draped across the table, hasn't been drawn for battle in a while, and you see his diary, you see his coffers nearby, you see, shipping manifests, you see a receipt sitting on the desktop. What do you want to do first? How do you react as you're standing in there?
He shovels the hat in his hands a few more times, rounding it as he's looking around the area, and eventually just sets it down onto his cot. Looks around. Goes to grab the book, looks at it.
You see some scribbling, some worn and harried pages that have been, ruffled many, many times. Something that the captain never really kept that good of a diary. He just sometimes wrote down little things that he needed to remember or that were important, or when he was frustrated and didn't want to yell at somebody. But sometimes there were things inside of it. And you see that there's a dog-eared section of the page that he had been working on recently. Do you open it up?
He starts to, but Leifei stops and closes the book fully and sets it down.
So you set it down back on the table. You see the receipt to the side of it. Very quickly, easy to glance over. You notice there's receipts from Kylitos that happen to be related to a series of different pieces of clothing and articles, a new jacket, an eloquent scarf, and there is something on there that is related to auditory stimulation. The pieces and parts, when put together, you think would make for a bone conducting music player or headset, basically. He was looking for something that made it easier for you to hear others while you were still listening to your music.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, Captain. Sorry for what I did to you.
You stand there in silence and loneliness, feeling a void that you didn't expect to feel, almost like it's unreal. And as you look around the room, you realize that there's a lot still to do. He's got clothes kind of splayed out in the room. He's got little knickknacks here and there. A couple of items that are souvenirs from various worlds you've traveled to and various jobs you've done. And all of it is so full of memories that you had with the captain that I'm going to say that you probably are having a severely emotional moment.
He's moving around the room, just sort of like figuring out what to do with everything. And as he's like essentially like putting things in piles and cleaning things up, he looks over towards Cutlass's sword. I really wish you got to use that more often. We always made it hard for you. I don't even think I've seen you use it in years. He moves over and grabs it and picks it up.
As you pick it up, you notice that there is a peace knot tied in it. And there's a scribbled etching underneath the handle that you've never looked at because Cutlass has never let you pick it up. On it, you can see notch marks from individuals that he has killed. And there at the very last one, there's an X through the notch, and there's a little scribble that says never again.
Lefe sits in silence for a long time.
We fade out on that scene, and we head over to Nohu at this point. Nohu, you have a lot of supplies left. You have a lot of adjustments to make. You've got a ton of scrap at the moment, although the ship is in real need of repair. What do you focus on first? We're going to actually have a 3-week jump here soon, so we need to determine what it is that everybody's doing during that time, and we'll have a couple of scenes with everyone.
3 weeks until we reach our destination?
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, I guess I'll have to focus first on whatever is needed so that we don't die on our way there, like some holes that need to be patched, or the engine that needs to be taken care of from the assault from before so that it doesn't explode in our faces. You know, just the boring, vital things that everybody seems to be harping know who about to focusing on instead of his awesome like super armor he's trying to make on the side.
All right, so you're focusing on the ship and the repairs that it needs first and foremost. Depending on how good you roll, it may take less time. So let's see how much of the 3 weeks this takes for you to do this. Give us a brains roll real quick.
All right, does this count as a repair roll?
Yes, it is a repair roll.
All right, are the tools that are in the ship, are they considered normal or masterwork?
They're mostly damaged, so they're rough tools.
All right.
You got a 19. With a 19, it'll take the better part of a week to get all the major systems repaired and the holes in the ship and all of that kind of thing. So you'll have the other 2 weeks to decide after that.
Great.
So we see Nohu grabbing hold of scrap and supplies, moving here and there, and welding things and hammering here and putting nails in and putting boards up and probably asking for some assistance from the others. Carrot is constantly following Nohu around and trying to be an assistant, and obviously causing no measure of pain and anguish to Nohu on occasion. I mean, you know.
There's no such thing. I'm a great teacher, so I just have to teach him the basics, and every mistake is just a new discovery that wasn't found before.
Of course. So we move from there to Clarion. When the captain was gone, you did cleanup. You've had to remove the organic matter from the deck because everybody else was having a hard time actually remaining around whenever that job was put out there that it needed to be done for sanitation reasons and all of that. And
Naturally, I do not expect the humanoids to be able to do this dispassionately.
so we do see you, cleaning up stains on the deck and whatnot. What are your plans for this week at the moment?
Keep an eye on Vicky, is job one, and Amos. And, well, just keep an eye on everybody
Okay.
at this point. And then I think her priority is to get the water filtration system up and running.
Okay, so you're going to work on water filtration and making sure Vicky stays optimal and everybody else is in good health. So we have a scene of you as you've finished up cleaning, you put some of the supplies away, you've gone back into medical, and you're looking through the cabinets and they are bare. There's basically nothing left in here. You hear Vicky kind of cough off to the side and sit up in the bed and look over at you. Is it really bright in here?
Vicky, it is, in fact, a little dimmer than normal. I anticipated that you might have vision issues.
I've got a splitting headache too. Do you have any painkillers or anything?
Unfortunately, I am out.
Great. Would alcohol help, you think?
Alcohol may help your headache, but it also may depress your circulatory functions. So it is a calculated risk.
It's worth it, in my opinion. I have some whiskey in the kitchen, hidden behind the stove in the very back corner. There's a little thing you can.
I will retrieve it for you.
Looking at her, you can recognize that she's suffering some severe damage to her multiple concussions, short period of time, without some really serious and very difficult medical procedures or some potent healing magics. She might be permanently disabled in some ways.
Well, I've seen Leifei lay on hands, so I think on her way to go get the whiskey, Clarion will try to find Leifei.
Okay. So you go down the stairs, you're heading through the hall, you step into the kitchen looking around, you reach down and you grab the alcohol, about half of a liter of like whiskey. And as you turn, you see Leifei stepping out of the captain's quarters. Leifei, what do you look like as you step out? What are you holding?
He's currently holding the receipt.
Okay.
As he's moving out, he's looking around. Oh, hello.
Leifei, may I borrow you for a moment?
Certainly.
Becky is not doing well, and I am out of painkillers and other options. I have noticed that you are occasionally able to help people with healing magic. Is this true?
In most ways, yes.
Accurate would have been the more accurate thing to say. If you could follow me up to Medbay and help Vicky, I am trying to avoid long-term consequences to her health.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Thank you.
So we see Clarion head up there with alcohol. We see Leifei standing and waiting for a moment before he heads off as well. And we see now Amos. Amos, you're nursing the injury to your leg. You're sitting in your bunk and resting where Scarborough is forcing you to stay. And he's playing a game of backgammon with you. All right, and checkmate. Is that what you say? Is that the game? I think.
Sure.
All right.
This doesn't know how to play backgammon. Yes.
Neither does Scarborough.
So, where exactly were you when all hell was breaking loose, Scarborough?
Where was I? I was fighting people down below deck and then above deck, and then I had to run back down below deck again. It was nuts.
Okay. Yeah. We did rip a lot of good gear off of them. Have you started sorting it yet?
Yeah,
Oh,
put a
no.
bunch of this stuff together. They've got a bit of space magic infused blades, some armor plating that seems to reconfigure, but it's really damaged.
I mean, we have a really damaged engineer, so
Yeah, damaged and damaged makes fixed. That's how I always said, you know?
yeah, I guess that makes us one whole unit then.
Yeah, we're definitely a unit.
And
You doing all right,
absolutely-
Amos? That shot to the leg, that was a pretty serious one, man.
Yeah, scale of 1 to 10, it's easily an 8.
I gotta ask. And he puts his like hand on your other leg, but leans in a little conspiratorially close. How did it feel? I've never been shot by one of those before.
And then Amos sees Leifei and instantly gets up and just hobbles over to them.
Amos like starts stumbling in your direction with his leg like twisting almost in the wrong direction on occasion from how damaged it is.
Leifei, you got a moment to talk?
A bit busy right now,
All right.
I suppose. Why?
At the rate things are going, something's going to happen in the next 5 minutes probably, but how are you handling this field promotion?
Not. I wasn't promoted.
Look, I know I know you're not in the we're not in the. What the hell is that?
The academy?
The Imperial
military?
Army.
I don't know
Sure.
anything about either of those.
Well, the long and short of it is, for all intents and purposes, I guess you're captain now. Of us.
For now, yes.
Is there anything I can do anything I can say or do to convince you to stay as captain? Because I don't think, knowing you as long as I have, as long as we've talked, you to be the kind comfortable with commanding people.
I'm not great at it.
I mean,
We'll
no
do
one
it for
is.
now.
It-
When we get to Saberhold, they might have somebody that's better.
Respectfully, I just, fuck. I think in the long run, you would be the better alternative to someone else because we know you as a person. And I'm pretty sure someone else is going to throw us into a black hole.
I don't know, mate. I think you know more than anybody.
Just
You
because
don't
I'm
fully
captain.
know me as a person.
And you didn't ask anything when I showed up. I extended the trust towards you. Look, I may have been a captain in the Imperial Army, but rank means nothing without experience. And I'd like to think that you have more experience than the rest of us, especially as someone who has worked as closely with the captain. And quite frankly, the idea of a stranger leading us terrifies me. Sorry, painkillers are a little strong tonight.
I'll take that under advisement, Amos. Don't worry too much about it. And he pats Amos on the side, trying to not hit wounds.
All right, we see Leifei like just have that engagement with Amos, obviously a little bit awkward, and then turns and heads up to go try to assist Vicky. So, yeah.
Can
Go ahead.
Amos,
Yeah?
I'm having a bit of a hard time with the captain's things. There's just so much. Do you think you could take over that?
Take over how?
He has a whole lot of stuff, and a lot of it's rather heavy. And people figured out I'm good at healing. Clarion figured it out. I guess I'm gonna have another task too.
How about this? What do you need done?
There's plenty of stuff in there that I don't know what everybody likes about Cutlass's things. And,
well,
and there's no way for them to go anywhere except for Saberhold. And I don't want them to have it.
how about this? We put it in a crate. We hold on to it for a little bit. If you need notes, I can provide them based off of my observations. However, this is the part that's going to sting a little bit. Part of being a leader is trusting your instinct on people.
Hey, you put me in that role as he's like walking up the stairs and leaving.
He just like turns and walks away from you.
No, hold up, hold it.
And Leifei steps away, having delegated the collecting the old captain's things and putting them in the box to remove from the room to you.
Sir, yes, sir.
Hobbles back over. Now, where were we? I think I had 3 of a kind.
Yeah, you had 3 of a kind, and I had an ace takes 5.
Nonsense. I'm pretty sure I assembled that mousetrap correctly.
On King me.
No, King me.
Oh, sorry, by the way. You gotta go back to start.
Where is start?
It's over there by the jail, you know? You do not pass go. You don't collect $200.
Wait a minute. Are you... We're not playing capitalism.
Oh, right.
This is backgammon.
Pirates don't play capitalism anyway.
No. You know what? I'm just gonna go take the... I'm just gonna see that armor situation. I've been racing around naked for a while.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to be polite about it, but it's really staring me right in the eye, and I can't handle it anymore.
For the umpteenth time, if...
Look, I only come up to your kneecaps when we're standing here. I can't help but, you know, notice things.
Well, buy me dinner first. Storms out, hobbling.
We don't have any dinner here. All right, and you leave. Scarborough actually turns and goes, yeah, dinner. Maybe a good idea. You seem like grumbling as he walks off towards the kitchen. With no Bicky, they're operating the kitchen, and Carrot busy doing tasks for Nohu. Scarborough plans on making everybody food tonight. We now move to Beatrix. So B, you of course have been navigating off and on. After the events of what have occurred in the past, we see you sitting in your bunk having a moment's peace to yourself. What do we see you doing? What do we see you thinking about? And what's going on?
B is very carefully with her blackest crayon and largest piece of paper sketching out plans to burn the Empire to the ground.
So you're like sitting there and you're drawing things. You hear Zep nearby.
Is that the Emperor?
Yes, it is.
And he's hanging upside down.
It seemed appropriate.
Is that a rope or his tonsils? I'm not sure which.
I mean, take your choice. Either one will work.
Well then. Are you okay, B? Are you alright?
I mean, they killed Cutlass, he was the closest thing to family I had for a long time, until I met you. And
this is not something lightly said, but you have to get used to loss.
I think I would be okay with loss, I'm less okay with theft.
With theft. Explain what you mean.
They stole Cutlass from us. He didn't have to go. It wasn't his time. They stole him.
In my recollection of things, there's never a good time. If someone doesn't fall to a bullet, to a blade, to an accident, to a disease or an illness, they just cease to exist. You and I, we are eternal, B. You will live on, even after your body is no more.
I'll live with you, right, Seb?
Of course.
Yeah.
But you can't... Try not to get too attached. Because if you do, you'll suffer nothing but pain and anguish. You'll live in an eternity where you have these cycles of interest and feeling and pain. They will continue forever. That is the mortal way.
That sounds happy and sad.
It is. And
But
I have not found it always worth it.
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to figure that out, Seb, because I was really happy with Captain Cutlass, and I'm really happy with my friends here in the crew.
Well, hopefully none of them will be lost anytime soon either. But no matter what happens, I'll be here.
Thanks, Zeb. That
You're
means the
welcome.
world to me. Now, do you know where I put that red crayon? It's
Oh,
around here
yes.
somewhere.
It's actually in that crevice in the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
So we see B scribbling away, lots and lots of red marks and blood all over the page. Scrape, 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 scrape. Before we see the scene shift back to medical. Leifei does his best with Vicky, but his healing isn't able to reach the deepest parts of her brain, unfortunately. And while the pain is lessened, as she's sitting there, thanks, Leifei. So where are we going now? I heard Cutlass is gone.
We're going to Saberhold.
I'm gonna ask you for a favor, since we've been through so much together already. When we get there, I'm gonna retire.
I think I heard something like that.
I just want a cut so that I can go find some place to live and maybe a bakery, open up one and live a less dangerous life. I'm tired of being shot at and I'm tired of having roofs dropped on me.
Certainly. It's pretty awful. Wait, do you have a sparrow tattoo anywhere?
Well, I mean, don't we all?
Well, yeah. Okay. Is it hideable? You probably won't want to hide
It's
it.
on my ankle. I can probably hide that.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get you some money and a way out of here, and a ship probably, some way to get away from this whole mess.
Well, thank you. And make sure Carrot is okay and he's fed 4 times a day. If he doesn't get fed, he gets cranky, and then, it's just, how he can be. I mean, I can't take him with me or anything, so.
Lefe looks over towards Nurse Carrot.
Carrot looks over and just licks his eye.
Yeah, certainly, I'll be able to take care of Carrot.
Thank you. And Scarborough, he doesn't say it much, but he really hates hardtack and sardines. So
I thought you were gonna say something in Cribs, but he hates like blowing people up with cannons. I can I can get him some.
Oh no,
actual
no, no!
red
He
meat.
loves that.
Yeah, I for some reason I just thought there was gonna be some whole left-hand twist and just like, what? No, I'll get him some red meat somehow.
Oh,
We're going to
another
Saberhold.
thing.
We'll be able to get everything.
You bring him to my.
How much do you want?
A couple hundred silver.
that can be done. Yes.
He doesn't say it, and he won't tell you because he's too proud. When you get to Myosinus, he can't swim, so don't let him get near any water, or it could be a problem.
Where was he raised?
He was raised on Rulo.
Huh. I'll keep his missions away from there.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because the headache's starting to come back. Thank you for the help.
Yeah. Try and... I barely know what I'm doing anyways. Never mind.
You'll get it. She like pats you on the arm, and then she like lays down and puts a pillow over her eyes. The scene fades, and we find ourselves in a different place. Benjamin, your character has just stepped off of a transport vessel that he had bartered to find his way to Saberhold. As you had floated up to this massive, almost looks like a flying cannon with a whole bunch of like buildings attached to it and dock ports for pirate ships and whatnot. A whole bunch of very loaded for bearer vehicles moving in and out. And as you have landed and come off of this onto the docks, you see a bunch of surly types standing there. And as you walk towards them into Saberhold, they kind of look over. Yep, all right. No trouble from anybody. Keep your weapons put away. If you find yourself in a position where you want to take your violence on others, do it outside of Saberhold, or you will not be allowed back inside Saberhold. Got it? You see the other crewmates that are nearby, the passengers that are stepping off, just, yeah, of course. How do you react? And who do we see as the camera pans up to your character?
The character is a svelte gentleman of middle age in a brown beat up leather duster with metal trim, underneath which is a priest's frock, white collar and everything, and what appears to be hanging from his neck the symbol of the what's the one, not my specific sect, but the one that it branched off from.
Oh, the shoot,
the Undying or something.
The Divine. God, I can't remember right now because I'm tired.
Oh heck.
Yeah. Hold on, I've got it written down here somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, it's in our log somewhere. He has long white hair kept at one. All right, so it's like the thing where it's like the long straight, like super straight, like vampire straight white hair, that is collected in just like the tiniest little ponytail at the end, meeting just below like the shoulder line. Like this hair is fucking extravagant, and a woven leather headband across the top, and
Divine Inspiration.
Yeah, the Divine Inspiration. He's got a symbol of the Divine Inspiration, but he's definitely not wearing like the standard clothing of the Divine Inspiration. It's like something else is going on. The most prominent feature is his incredibly penetrating pale blue eyes. Like, we're talking like white irises and just like a hint of blue, just a kiss of blue right on top, like you just dab some paint in it. But they are like utterly penetrating. And all he does when the guards talk about fighting and stuff, just sort of puts his hands up, shakes his head, indicating that he has no weapons, and then moves on.
They all let him through, let the rest of the crowd through, and as this crowd kind of comes inside and just begins dispersing, going off in random directions, this multi-tiered spoke circular chamber that has multiple floors that go up and have different levels basically with each floor with their own separate segments of it. Kind of like if the Mall of America was shaped like a football stadium that was the entire circular dome. It starts out, goes around the middle, curves upward with various floors and balconies and whatnot, rimmed with guards and things like that all over. As you walk inside, you see a peddler selling wares, a very thin man with metallic arms and legs and whatnot, with a little body shop sign to the side. And you don't think he's talking about mechanical components unless they happen to deal with people, because you see individuals walking in and some of them walking out, modified and augmented. As he broadcasts out to the area,
You there, fine, sir. Do you wish to be better than yourself? Better than the bodies that were given to us that were made of nothing but flesh? And of course, weakness. We can carve that weakness out of you. What do you say?
The character Roland just sort of like smiles at the irony of it, realizing that he is exactly where he needs to be, and starts like a long walk with doing like the priest walk with his hand sort of like in front of him a little bit, just sort of spiraling up. Not quite that. It's more like the where you sort of like hold him down at your down here, like you're a
right at your
preppy, like
waist.
carrying your books. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Like if you had a
and
sweater on with the pockets in front and you just had your hands in that position.
Nailed it. Yeah, that's the one. And just sort of like spirals his way up to the top balcony, and then quietly watches just like the swarms of desperate criminal people, and he takes a little mortar out of his pocket and then a pestle and grinds up like a dry leaf, and then drops like a flick of powder in it, and then just sort of like sniffs the smoke and closes his eyes and sort of like visualizes the entire scene.
Just seeing it all.
Hit a button when I didn't mean to. So you're looking around and you're taking in the sights. You see various individuals bartering wares, tossing things off, drinking and gallivanting around. You can see there's a very cliquish feel to a lot of the place. Individuals who work alongside different pirate ships and whatnot kind of stick to their own, and you can see them almost like giving each other a wide berth as they walk the halls and the verandas. There's a series of different shops all along. There's recruitment centers trying to hire individuals for various organizations, and then of course there's the Citadel watch there as well, keeping an eye on everybody. So as you look over, you can see the names of the various factions: the Grayskin, the White Tiger, the Sparrows.
Roland just sort of like contemplates where he feels tugged to. He's definitely interested in sort of like the recruitment center stuff.
All right. So we see Roland start walking around and looking at these. And there's a very definitive sensation of warmth that you get standing outside of the Sparrows.
Roland kind of nods and checks for, just walks in and checks for openings. I'm trying not to talk here because I really don't want to spoil the voice until I meet everybody.
So you walk in and we see him step into the Sparrow's office. An individual coated in metallic components, very seriously upgraded, an orc of some kind, stands at the desk and proceeds to start talking to them, and then the scene fades. So we move back out to the crew here. So I'm going to ask each one of you very quickly, other than Nohu, because we already know what he did. We'll be back with you in just a second. What were you doing for the last week? So, Clarion, what was your week like?
Assuming we got the water filtration system up and running.
Yes.
Okay, then she's gonna try and take apart any scrap or salvage and see if there's like any drugs, anything she can use to synthesize drugs.
Give me a brains roll, and we'll just see if you were able to come across anything from any of the little bits and pieces of things that you found. With a 20, I'd say you have enough chemical components to make a few different bits of a med kit. So you got like one use of a med kit out of everything you found and scrounged.
Okay. And if any of it can help Vicky, she's just
You just give that for pain
Yeah.
meds. All right. Her headaches have started to subside a little bit over the course of the next couple of weeks, but there are some rough scares because she'll go to sleep and then she starts slipping towards a coma. You've had to fix her a couple of times. So that was your week, was taking care of her, finding medications as you could, and fixing the water purification, which is back up and running. You've all found out that Scarborough is a horrible cook. Nobody is surprised. Almost everything is great if you love carbon. But since most of you don't, I mean, you have very clean digestive tracts, but that's about it. So, Amos, what have you been doing for the last week? Your leg has healed over that period of time and regenerated. You've been, what?
Split their time between helping Leifei transition into a captain's role and any tasks that they put him to, secretly just teaching them about the inner workings, what they've noticed, and just dealing with Cutlass's personal effects. Amos is literally playing their role as the bulwark, taking care of the emotionally rough parts of the passing to allow Leifei to move into a sort of command structure sort of thing.
All right. So you've been a shoulder for those around you and trying to help Leifei transition. You had gone to the captain's quarters and had proceeded to box up all of his things. A couple of things caught your eye as you were putting them away. One was an old ratty doll that likely belonged to his daughter, who no longer is around, and a small piece of red fabric. Looks like it belonged to a bandana or something like that. You think it might be the Admiral's.
Gonna put those two on top of the belongings and close everything up. When they're done with that, they're gonna see to armor because yeah.
All right, so you'll be working on armor next, which we'll see. Have a scene between you and Nohu as it gets to that point. Nohu, you had been working on everything there. As soon as everybody else has theirs up, it'll be your turn for scene. B, what were you doing for the last week?
Almost countering Amos's good example by trying to distract Leifei in the other half of the time with, fun wind tricks and, oh, let's fight together. And, oh, look, the cool sword. It glows.
Annika, yes, Amos did get the heals. Thank you for those, by the way. So we see Leifei. Leifei, what have you been doing for the last week? Obviously, you're being bombarded with, you need to be captain from Amos, and we'll look over here from B all the time.
I'd say pestered. Leifei would definitely not. When he's not in the midst of his captainhood training by Amos, or goofing off and fooling around, Leifei is often found in the kitchen, talking with Vicky, just to have that final amount of time before she goes. He's drinking tea most of the time, and when they're not talking, he's still there, silently in thought.
So you've spent some time there just thinking and drinking and chilling with Vicky. So at this point, we move back over to Nohu. Nohu, at this moment, you've finished up the repairs to the ship. You've got things back in working order. With Clarion's assistance, the two of you have gotten the water pumps back in place. You still have the extra atmospheric generator on board the ship that Red Iron had taken. You could see about installing that. You do still have additional armor plating you could see about installing. And of course, as you have all of these various projects, Amos walks in the room and goes to talk to you.
So I know that we're currently dealing with the fact that we got our kneecaps kicked inward. I'm willing to help you out with the heavy lifting if you can help me with a project I need completing yesterday.
Ah! Tari, you kind of jump on me. Say what?
Hi, I'm Amos. I was the
Oh
Big-
yeah, you were the guy that was like on the medical bay, like.
yeah,
cleaning myself.
the dying one. Yeah. Hi, I'm not dead.
Cool.
I heard you need heavy lifting, and I need armor. Like, it's becoming a chronic problem. I seem to, for whatever reason, always end up butt naked at the end of a fight.
Hey, we're samesies. I mean, I wasn't always naked. I just when I appear on the ship, but you know, I'm, you're not like a different version of me, right? Because I'm red and you're blue, so that's the only reason why I wasn't saying anything. But
Well, I'm actually you from an alternate reality where everything is bad, and I've been fighting for the past 70 years to survive in a world where corgis have risen up from Myocetus and have become the dominant life form. It's a bit of a pandemic type situation.
are you evil me? Did you shave your mustache?
Amos brushes the tiny little scaly horns on their chin. Maybe.
I mean, I would be more worried if I hadn't seen you like a slab of meat over the medical bay just a couple of days ago. So I think I can take you on. So maybe you're evil me. I'm not that scared of you. Not that I know what that sensation even is. So, all right, what do you need?
I need armor that doesn't break and possibly shoots things.
Well, I've got a lot of broken pieces of metal over here, so I think I can do something.
How ridiculous can you make it, considering the constraints we have? Because it's been a long time since I've really asked for anything. They shift nervously.
Well, usually things explode as a sort of like side effect, but for you, I can make it optional.
I beg your pardon. What alternate where corgi apocalypse Myocetus is this?
Well, the one where they eat all of the alfalfa from the ground, but really that was a thing back in Rula, and it was rather nasty. We don't really talk about it much.
All right.
Top men may be looking at us after saying those words.
Top men.
Top men.
Topmen? Are they anything like Nolan Body?
Who has a nobody? What?
No, Nolan Buddy.
No, that doesn't ring any bells.
Who put these two cartoon
chimneys.
characters in this episode?
But yeah. I got
Yeah, exploding armor. Cool, great.
Wait,
I'll
what?
work on that.
Actually,
All
sure,
right.
why not?
So,
Reactive armor.
Nohu, you do have some choices here. So there is a lot of just general scrap. If you're just going to use straight up scrap for it without any like special components, you're looking at like heavy plates or like super heavy armor. But you could use some of the parts off of the atmospheric generator to try to give it some modifications. You could use some of that armor plating you had for the ship if you want to try to make something really strong.
Well, I was about to ask, what's the use of that atmospheric generation there?
It would be used as a backup. They have their own like backup generator attached to their energy source attached to them. So if the engines went down, the atmosphere would stay longer.
All right. I think I can work with that. Yes, I'll use the atmospheric generator to use it as part of the armor and make it an adaptation that, after suffering enough of punishment, it's collecting the kinetic charge of whatever is hitting him, and then he'll be able to explode.
All right, so he's
in
gonna
a
have.
sense of electric energy, or maybe in an EMP sort of way.
All right, so you're gonna try to attempt to collect kinetic energy and turn it into an electric discharge when he's taken enough punishment.
Yeah.
All right. So give me 2 rolls. You need to make an aware roll to find the parts that you need from the atmospheric generator without completely destroying everything, and then a brains roll to put it together.
Oh boy, that sounds like fun. All right, aware roll.
Now, before you make your brains roll, I'll give you some options here. So aware-wise, 12. You end up scrapping a good portion of that generator, but you do find the parts that you need. So that's going to give you 3d6 regular mid-grade scrap out of the generator as you tear it apart. So it's 15 more scrap has been provided to you. And then you use the parts to work on the armor. Now, how long do you want to work on this? You have 2 weeks before you arrive. For each week that you work, it will reduce the overall roll target by 5. So right now, to make the armor exactly the way that you want, you're going to have to roll a 25 or 22 or higher. If you wait a week, it drops down to 17. If you continue it longer than that, it'll drop down to 14.
All right, I'll think
Well.
in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so 2 weeks. Go ahead and give me a brains roll and get higher than a 16. So 17 or higher, and you'll succeed. 16.
Wait, didn't you say that it's -5 for each week, so it would be a
Oh, you said you were going to
-10?
take 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
So yes. Okay,
two.
so you're doing the full 2 weeks. Then yes, taking the full 2 weeks, you'll be able to create a suit of armor for Amos that can store kinetic energy and release it in a torrent of electricity. Are you going to
Because to
modify
be
this in any
honest,
additional way?
Nahu's way of inventing things is less like, oh, I have a design, let's work on this. It's more like red wire, blue wire, bzz, okay, no. Red wire, green wire, bzz, okay, no. Yellow wire, red wire. Okay, let's start from scratch. Red wire, blue wire, bzz, no. So it's rather time consuming in the end.
Exactly. So, are you going to add any additional modifications to this armor, or is that it?
Well, it won't be a novel like item without some modifications.
So it does
something
have.
extra to it.
It will have 2 mod slots on it. So if you have something to add, you can add up to 2 of them.
All right. Can I add it? One of would that Kotkin upgrade work on it?
Yep, you can put 1 Kodkin upgrade on it, and then 1 other modification. The item allows its user to gain 8 flying move for 1 scene, max once a scene. Failure, the
Yeah.
device explodes, launching the user straight up 2d10 in distance. So that's up to 100 feet straight up.
Awesome. All right. I'll. What other modification can I give it? Grappling hook. No, it cannot really fly. I'll take a moment to think about it.
All right, so we can work on that here soon. So Amos, you leave in time to see Nohu just like scribbling down notes on a piece of paper, collecting things. You see him like leave the room and have Carrot go and assist pulling off big chunks of that whatever that thing was that Red Iron had brought in there. And as Nohu is working on this, you see his tail is different and crawls up onto his shoulder and then starts assisting in the same way that Red Irons did. Nohu, can you describe what your tail looks like now?
Well, it ends like in a slightly larger tube, and before it was like a place where the grappling hook was already attached to it. Now it's like gone, but every so often, like a couple of small tendril-like little tentacles will move in through it and start like reaching like deep into the entrails of the ship at some moments. Other times they'll go like, since the equipment is still, Nohu enhanced, and it keeps disappearing when Nohu is not seeing them. The tail is the one that goes and grabs them, like little tentacles wrapping around it, smashing them around a little bit so they get tired and the items, behave themselves. That sort of thing.
So they behave themselves. So partway through this week, you hear a bang in the distance, Amos, and you rush to find out what's going on as security officer. You see Nohu's standing there with like soot and ash around his face and in a section of the ship that he looks at because he needs to repair it. And in his hand next to him, one of his newest inventions, a small oblong object that happens to have a pin attached to it. He's created a Tinker's grenade.
Audible Lesrin concerned noises. Curious Lesrin noises.
All right. So that period of time goes by, and we're now looking at the last week as everybody's traveling to Saberhold. We see Leifei driving the ship, flying the ship, if you were, as you were. And B, you're up at the front, you're navigating, and you've been concerned about him. Leifei's been very quiet and kind of standoffish, avoiding both you and Amos recently. And this is a time where he's standing there just staring off at the stars. You see Clarion step out onto the deck, and the two of you look at each other and look up, and you see Leifei there. What do you do? So B and Clarion, you both look at each other and then look at Leifei.
I'm worried, Clarion.
Yes? Why?
Leifei isn't being really Leifei right now. He's so quiet and serious.
I imagine the pressures of acting as captain are getting to him.
That makes sense. I wish there was a way we could help.
What are you doing to try to help? I have noticed that.
Well, we were playing and we were working on our teamwork, and I kept showing him the sword, and now he's not talking to me. I don't know, it's weird.
Perhaps you were bothering him. Sometimes people shut down when you bother them.
I've never bothered him before, but I guess it's possible. Maybe it's kind of like when I used to bother Cutlass. Oh no. Do you think I'm going to bother Leifei all the time now? Like, oh.
I think perhaps if this is truly what the crew and Leifei decides, when we acquire a new captain, I am not certain of the procedure for that, then Leifei can go back to being first mate in the role that he is comfortable with. However, that is not a decision that I would make, but I am not Leifei.
I think you're right. He doesn't like being captain. Maybe that's why he's so upset. Thanks for such a good talk, Clarion.
You are welcome, although I considered my half of the conversation subpar.
Oh. Well, you gave me a lot to think about, and that's always good.
I see. Speaking of acting captain, excuse me, and Clarion walks up to talk to Leifei.
Clarion steps up to where you're at. Leifei, what are you doing at the moment?
I take off my headphones.
Hello, Leifei. Did you authorize the use of the backup atmospheric generator to be repurposed into Amos's army?
His army?
For his armor.
Oh, wow. I thought there was an uprising already.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to alarm you. I will adjust my local generation algorithms.
No problem, Clarion. No, I didn't. Did that happen?
Yes, I have seen Nohu and Amos working on it together. I thought I should ask.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I see. Shall we allow this activity to continue?
I don't see it hurting anything.
Yes. However, our engines have been targeted in almost every encounter that we have had, ship to ship recently. Either we should invest in hardening the engines so that they are not such an easy point to disrupt, or we should invest in backup systems. I had thought that this spare atmospheric generator would be a good place to start on that front.
Perhaps. Have they already done all of this? It's destroyed and it's now armor?
I would have to recreate a fair number of parts to bring the atmospheric generator back into working condition, yes.
Maybe so we could do it at Saberhold then. I never
At this
really
point, we may be better
asked.
off selling what is left for scrap and purchasing a new one.
At the ship?
I did not say the ship, although that is not a bad idea. I meant the atmospheric generator.
Let's go sell grandfather and start over.
Yeah, I'm not certain that Red Iron would like that.
Red
I
Iron
will
is no longer
find
here.
you.
I know.
So what were you gonna ask, Leifei?
Well, since it is a bit late, I suppose we should continue allowing Nohu to create these modifications and upgrades to Amos's armor. That seems useful, at least.
Amos taking a hell of a beating. It'd be nice to see him not.
My thoughts precisely.
I can let the ship take everything before I want to see any one of you like I've seen every one of you for the past couple weeks.
Yes, we should perhaps focus on reinvesting any proceeds we may have into personnel reconstruction facilities if we are going to continue engaging enemies as we have been.
You know, maybe I should just get in a big scrap so I can have a cool robot arm.
If you desire a robot arm, I could simply remove the arm, and it does not need to happen in battle, unless you would like an interesting story to tell the ladies, as they say.
Well, that's the thing. A story's everything.
The story need not be true.
He shrugs.
Say an Empire bounty hunter shot your arm off.
I mean, it could have happened.
It very well could have.
Yeah.
It might still.
I mean, that's true.
In any case, that was my main concern.
Yeah. No, I didn't know about that. But feel free to say whatever you want to them. I'm not the full captain at all, so everybody has their own rights
still,
too.
Someone needs to make decisions and monitor things on the ship. I thought I should run this past you so that I did not usurp what authority there is.
Why don't you?
Why don't I? Because there is a... Well... Are you authorizing me to take action as I see fit?
Oh, haven't you always been doing that?
I suppose, although it does seem to run smoother when there is a chain of command. For example, in battle situations, usually Amos is guiding us.
Leifei sits over there like, in. Have you ever
So-
thought of being captain yourself?
I've given it thought. There is a lot I do not know. I do not have the contacts or insider knowledge of the pirate situation that Cutlass had. I believe I would need more experience before taking on such a position, but if there are decisions to be made, I am good at making decisions.
I know.
Very well. I will have a talk with Nohu.
Please do. Please do.
Meanwhile, Leifei, if you are struggling with... I know I am not the best at helping people process their emotions, but if you need someone to talk to who is not Beatrix, who seems to be pestering you, and Amos, who is well-intentioned, but also seems to be pestering you, I am available.
Yeah. I don't know. I always feel like I need more time to think about things. So that
Time?
just might be the elf in me.
Right. Time is the one thing most of us do not get very much of.
I'll
I
think
have
about
calculated that I will probably die by accident within 1,000 years.
it. 1,000 years.
Yes. Well, now that I have taken up the life of a pirate, that figure is significantly smaller.
Well, soon enough, we'll stop being pirates after we get so much money. But
Is
to
that
do that,
truly the goal?
who knows? I've been a pirate for about, I don't know how long. It might be the elf in me. But one day I'll find a way that, maybe we can live more fulfilling lives. Is this fulfilling? Actually, I have,
For me, yes.
yeah.
Being beholden to no one but the captain that I vote for is different than most other situations I have had in my life. This is very different and an incredible opportunity for one such as myself. I have never really had a say in who my master or owner was before this.
Oh, before I became a sparrow?
Yes,
What were they like before? You had a master before.
I was created on my Aesinus by someone who I now recognize to be a very bad man.
And we're going there. How do you feel about that?
Well, before Cutlass passed, he had assured me that he would be on my side if there were any conflicts with said master. I do not know if he is still there, what situation he is in, or how much information he has access to, but I can make some assumptions based on what I know of his dealings as of 10 years ago. And if he has kept on the same path, then he is likely to be informed should the Sparrows ship, well, should a automaton of my description show up.
How bad are they? This is going to be a good place to hide out. Would they seek you out?
It is a possibility. I am not sure. On the mining station where we discovered the artifact that became Sylvia, there were security robots designed by my master, and he was able to communicate with them, through them, to me. I do not know if it was a pre-programmed message or if the knowledge of my existence, potentially as a pirate, has gotten back to him. I can only assume that it has, and and make plans with that in mind.
Yeah, I took one of those metal mechanical things that were talking, and I heard that voice. I gave that to you, didn't I?
Yes, I have been analyzing the chip. I have
I just
reduced most
don't
of the
want all
robot's
this to go.
chassis to scrap.
So scrapped then. I'm sorry, I'm asking a whole lot of questions. I don't want to bother you too much.
It is not a bother. As a person who is in the position of making decisions for the Sparrows, I think you should know.
Yeah.
So, to summarize, there is risk in visiting my Aesinus for me, especially. But if that risk is too high for the rest of the Sparrows, I am prepared to seek a solution that does not involve harm to you. I would not enjoy the process of being re-enslaved, but I would rather that than people I care about be harmed.
Well, we all fly free. We go there, that menace. We'll deal with them.
I would also not mind in the slightest murdering him painfully, as he has done to so many others.
Now there's a good start. Okay. Okay, that's something I can understand fully.
Excellent. Then
What's
we
your
are
best-
of an accord.
Of a oh, oh right, yes. Yeah, of accord. You can tell he just like was trying to figure out what that meant for a second.
I'm sorry, you were saying?
We're of accord. What way do you think would fit best? Killing the person that's made you? Did they make you actually?
Yes, he is rather gifted mechanically.
One-on-one duel. That's always my preferred way.
If all options are on the table, I would prefer as much firepower as possible. I do not know what sort of backup mechanisms he has in place for restoring his life or his fortunes, should he become injured. So overkill, I think, is the best kill.
All right. So I think I'm getting a good picture right now, and it's like it's drawn in crayon, and it's beautiful. It's delightful. I'm seeing all of us like before this fortress. He's probably got, like an evil fortress. It's like he sounds evil. Evil fortress
Mostly-
with a ship.
mostly it was a mansion with what you might consider dungeons. But there were some nice places. He mostly constructed the robots to keep his property manageable.
That's much better. He sounds like he's got a whole lot of air up here. So he made his fortress somewhere that's rich and nice and clean and easily destroyable.
No, it was in a swamp.
No, it was in a swamp.
Well, I got a picture of this ship flying. This ship we're on, flying over there, boom, 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 bombarding it and everything.
I wonder, he could potentially have hardened his premises against such an attack. My best option would be to try to negotiate a situation where we offer him something, i.e., me, in exchange for getting him alone, and then the rest of the crew holds back with immense firepower, whatever we can manage to procure, steal, or otherwise come across. And on my signal, I will open up my core and attempt to vaporize him at the same time as the rest of you do.
Making a plan to kill your creator.
This is delicious. I didn't even know you could do that. That's amazing.
I'm sure you have seen me do it. I activated that capability while we were in the warp.
I might have blocked that out. I block out a lot of things.
Ah, this would make sense. Well,
Wait, I told you something I shouldn't have.
I believe it is congruent with your attitude in general, Leifei. You seem rather laid back, and blocking out things, while it is not necessarily the most effective choice for someone who needs to make decisions, since you are eliminating information that could be relevant by blocking things out, I understand that it is effective in maintaining certain psychological processes in the humanoid mind.
It is. Most
So,
most elves
Good to
fall
confirm.
into some sort of funk after too much things happen to them.
needs time to think. So I'm gonna say at this
Very
point
well.
we see Clarion and Leifei, continue their conversation a little bit, and Clarion heads off to talk to Nohu about what has occurred, and amply gets nowhere. I'm absolutely certain that that's what would happen in this next scene. So we see the ship continuing to fly, and in the distance you see the massive citadel that is Saberhold, a floating outpost that changes positions within the Aether sphere in an effort to make sure that the man can't hold them down, isn't able to be found by the Empire and taken out at any given point. Although it would be quite the battle if that were to happen, as hundreds of pirates are there at any given time, or hundreds of pirate ships and companies are there at any given time. As you approach Saberhold, this is the first time you've flown in without someone telling you what to do, Leifei. So what do you do?
He clicks on the shortwave comms.
Clicking on the shortwave comms, what do you say?
Hello, everybody. It's been a while. Lei Fei, first mate of the Sparrows, coming in.
Ha ha ha, that's very funny. First mate of the what now?
The Sparrows.
That's an organization, not a ship.
Well, I thought I was number one of all the Sparrows, but all right. The Archimedes.
Ah, first mate of the Archimedes. How was old Cutlass, anyways?
We're requesting docking.
Not bad, huh? Alright, go to bay 114. You'll see the lights turning on now. Don't scratch the paint. And, have a safe trip and save roll. Don't get murdered and don't kill anybody.
I don't even think we have any more paint.
No, you do not. So we see the ship as it descends, docks, cables are thrown off by some of the crewmates, the gangplank comes down, and you find yourself at Saberhold. Walking within and going to the Sparrows Embassy. That's what they call themselves. You happen to be moving through the crowd here. Did anybody stay on the ship?
Wherever Lei Fei goes, Amos is going to follow because, yeah.
Nohu, is this your first trip to Saberhold?
Coin flip. Cross
flip.
says yes. No.
This is not your first trip to Saberhold. All right, maybe that'll come up here in a little while.
Nothing but good news, I'm sure.
If
They'll
no one
miss
else
me.
wants to stay with the ship, Clarion will do it.
All right, Clarion hangs back. So does Scarborough and Carrot. So we see all of you heading in. Lei Fei, you happen to have the captain's coffers, the vast majority of wealth that was to be distributed to the rest of the crew. That has 900 silver sitting inside of it. Where do you put it?
200 to Bicky.
All right. You give her that. She says her farewells to everybody, thanks you for what you've done, and then proceeds to go find charter off of the station.
700 to... Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7... Wait, do we have 7 crew members?
At this moment, Scarborough, Carrot, then you, B, Nohu, Amos, and Clarion. Yeah, at this point you'd have 7.
100 to every party member.
Everybody gets 100 silver.
B will actually give half of hers to Becky.
All right, so you hand that off to her. Oh, thank you, B. It's very nice of you.
You were always a good friend, Becky. I wish you the best and look forward to visiting and having more of your bread.
Of course. You are always welcome anytime. As soon as I find a place, I'll send a messenger here, and have them leave it with the embassy.
Great!
She nods, she comes over, and she gives you a kiss on your head, and then turns and goes and walks off into the mists. And we see everybody else traveling with their newly acquired cash in pocket up towards the embassy as well. Amos, you standing next to Lei Fei, getting that nervous sensation. You start looking around all over the place as your senses are going threat.
Like opening up a Discord messenger after being away for 6 days, and all you hear is bop bop, bop bop, bop bop.
Yeah.
Sir. Lei Fei. Lei Fei. Tap, tap, tap.
He's got his
Mental.
music
Tap,
on.
tap, tap.
I moved my headphone off of one ear.
One thing, if all else, I want you to remember. Don't be afraid to make an entrance when we make it to the embassy.
Oh. I would never forget to do that.
Audible Lesrin laugh.
So, as you go walking into the main doors of the embassy, what?
Also, Leifei, I'm sorry, but may I remind you that Collins is still a member of the crew and deserves to be reinstated to a body as soon as possible.
We'll do that.
Thank you.
So,
By we, I mean the like sort of public we. I do
Yes.
not know how to do that.
Royally.
You'll. The hardest part about being in charge is, well, do you want some advice? One former captain to another.
Sure, I'll be captain for like 15 minutes after this when we get in the embassy, but sure, whatever.
Lesrin, dial up. Everything's gonna be fine. Just gotta keep your head up. Whatever happens, I trust your judgment.
Oh, you should.
Why? Because you're still a captain?
Yeah.
So-
Get used to that. Do you want this all the time?
I do. Because
All right.
I think you will grow into a passable captain.
Quit sucking up. I understand you want first mate position.
Oh, of course, my liege. Vows. Whatever shall I get you? Bonbons, perhaps the finest of imperial ales. May I recommend, sir, this wonderful little eatery off of 5th and Livingston? Oh, yes. The maid
nudges
wants
him.
there.
To stop as they were like walking to
He's
the
like,
embassy.
bunch of as you walk through the door, you definitely make a scene with Amos broadcasting sarcasm to everyone within a 50-foot range.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They stop. They turn the corner, and then they just go from, oh, yes, but...
Leifei, what does it look like as you, well, Leifei B and Nohu and Amos, what does it look like as you all go walking into the Sparrows headquarters?
Amos waits for everyone to get ready, sets their hand on the door, getting ready to throw it open.
Okay.
As soon as it's thrown open, B just skips in and starts looking for the people that she knows and runs up and gives hugs and boops noses and is very excited.
You rush through the room, booping and hugging people very quickly as Amos stands there looking all... Leifei, what do you look like?
Leifei walks in. You can see him push down his bandana a little bit. As he puts a hand over towards his back, there's that cutlass laid out against it.
Cutlass
And
is
as he
blade.
moves into the area, he looks around. It's a lot more quiet than I remember.
Nohu, what do you look like as you walk into this embassy?
Well, Nohu sees like on the far end of one of the walls, there's like a picture of him. So he goes over to that same picture that has him like screaming with open full mouth. And he goes like, hey, look, it's me. And he does the exact same face to the poster that just has something like wanted, dead or alive beneath it. Like, ah!
You are a famous adventurer. You were right.
I know. I mean, I knew, of course. They never forget me wherever I go.
So as you all come into the room, as Leifei kind of gives his little swagger on as he walks in, you can see that there are young and aspiring individuals who want to be pirates. Some of them obviously putting on a gruff demeanor and face, but shaking at the knees to be around some of these other individuals. Some, more of the quiet mercenary types that have obviously been through a lot but may not be trustworthy there. You can see a few other sparrows that you've seen that are kind of moving amongst this crew and just checking them out and seeing who's fit for service and that kind of thing. And you see Donnie standing behind the desk nearby. He's been put there to do some clerical work, which he's not satisfied with.
Hey, my man Donnie, what's going on?
Dong.
Oh, Leifei, is that you?
Oh, hell yeah, it is. Still in the flesh.
How have you been? Gotten any
Who's
more
that?
scars recently? Any more honor stories?
I got a couple scars, but not showing you.
Shame that.
You can see mine, Donnie. Look. And
I'd
Bee
show
will
you-
show off her lightning scars.
Oh, wow. Good story with those ones.
Oh
Excellent.
yeah.
You have been
Amos.
through a lot, ma'am.
Scruffs your hair just a little bit, and the old orc kind of grins, half of his face and metallic, large robotic arm and shoulders inside, face half like machine with a roving orb that is the eye with a red glow within it. At his hip, he has a massive shield. At the other hip, he has a rocket hammer.
Still decked out. There gonna be breakouts lately?
I've had to thump a few heads, but, nothing great.
Yeah? Anybody want to point out to join the crew?
Well, really, they all look like a bunch of sissies. Not a whole lot of them out here are really, stepping up to the plate, you know what I mean? Cal would be disgusted at this entire rabble. So you're looking for new crewmates?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a problem lately.
We got our shit kicked in by a bounty hunter group. Something to
Ah.
do with a heavy caliber rifle and a painted hand over their face. A lion, I think.
You got in a run with the painted lion?
No, we ran over them.
What do you
They
mean?
got cut.
They
They
ran
got
into us, and then we ran over them.
They got cutlass square through the head.
Hey, good job there. The painted lion's been a problem for most of us here at one point or another, and the fact that you took her out, she ran off, tail between her legs, I'm assuming.
Well, you see, here's the thing. I think the painted lion's dead. Our engineer
Dead.
nuked them.
You see like a bunch of the crowd like starting to gather around you, being very quiet.
They had us at a disadvantage. They had pre-war military equipment. They had troops on deck. They had our engines disabled. And engineering, the mad... Can I say bastard on stream?
Yes.
The mad bastard, Red Iron, goes in there, takes us out of space, into the warp, and then proceeds to throw metaphysical hands. At this point, Amos is getting the crowd all riled up. Grabs a random drink off the bar because Amos. Here's to Red Iron, Slayer of the Painted Lion.
Here, here! Everybody kind of like cheers in the background. You see
And the
a lot of petitioners start moving towards you. Hey, you looking for a crew? Yeah, we could get along with a group like you. Take out the painted lion. I'm sure you rake in the dough. Yeah, you think we can just get on board with that, right? We can fight. We can carry. I can mop a poop deck like nobody's business.
Can you kill Syl?
Roland, off in the distance, as you're standing there, you see this crowd begin to gather. You'd stepped in and been told that everybody that was trying to get into new recruit positions would have to kind of stand off to the side and wait for the time for them to be screened in and to see if there were any captains currently hiring for positions. This crowd starting to gather, you get this strange sensation about it. These individuals are capable. These individuals are stronger than anything else that you've run into in the area and are exuding energies, aether, and life force.
Roland just like parting the seas, just like walks through the power of raw charisma. Just like gentle hand motions and like a little greenhorn will just sort of like just kind of step aside, not even knowing why, until finally Roland is like squared up directly eye to eye with Leifei.
So the crowd there that all seems to cater around you and come in a little bit too close. Some of them looking at you going, "Oh, that must be Cutlass. Look at his weapon. Of course that's him." And other people are just like, "Captain, you must be the captain, right? You're the captain. You need more crew. You need." And then suddenly everybody just kind of shoves backwards and gives you a bubble of space as this individual walks in front of you. Very intense blue eyes staring at you from the crowd, and everybody almost becomes hushed as they're standing nearby. Your gemstone on your chest lightens, and you can feel it vibrating as he stands in front of you.
Does Amos see this character approaching?
You're currently talking and creating a scene for everybody around. All you can see is a sea of faces.
The moment they get close enough, the moment this character gets close enough, Amos is just going to stop. And that's when the interview begins.
So, what do you say with your first words, Roland, to this strange crew?
Roland isn't even really addressing the crew, just like I like Lefe and Roland. And then Roland puts like one hand up to his headband and then just traces it along under his hair and stops at the ear and then lets his hand go down by his side. And then kind of raises his eyebrows like
Oh. Yeah.
Good afternoon, my brother. I am the Reverend Parson, Roland St. James, September.
Lefe.
It is a pleasure. And it is by act and coincidence that I am convinced the path has led me to you. A panacea of the spirit.
Now that I can understand.
As we see the two of them staring at each other, and this voice rings out, the scene fades to black as we go to our break. We will return shortly, and we will see what happens with the Reverend, with the crew, with the captain situation, when we return. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sparrows. Last time we left off, we were at a recruitment center. We were at the embassy for the Sparrows on board Saberhold, and we have seen the face of Roland. Roland has spoken to Lefe. Lefe, how do you react to this strange figure standing before you and speaking in such a manner?
Mate, you're on the crew, right? You're trying to get on the crew.
I'm not trying, I already am.
Well, damn. You have the actual understanding already. Fantastic. Sparrows fly free, mate. Do what you want.
It's not my will.
Is the wind?
You could call it that, I suppose.
Then it's how it has to be.
It's just the path, friend. Are you the captain?
For now, unless we find a better one.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of better ones around here, though. Strangely.
So that
I'm
empty
used-
gaze I saw behind your compatriot's eyes, even as he lifted his glass, that indicates that much has been taken from you.
Yeah. You'd be right in that.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have a captain named Captain Cutlass. You might have heard of him. Space badass.
Roland sort of like peers around and looks at the blade. His namesake?
Yeah. But he's the one that made it something special.
And what about you, son?
I'm his sword when he didn't need this. And now, I'm his sword even after. And this is the rest of the crew, most of them. Your name? Wow, I'm getting caught up with you. Your name?
Like I said, Reverend Parson Roland St. James September. You can refer to me by any combination of the previous.
I think I'm gonna find a really cool nickname for you somewhere in there. There's a whole lot of things to work with.
I am.
Roly?
Rolly.
That's a start.
Rolly it is.
I
Hmm.
suppose
And you're
I'm-
higher, and you're higher, and you're higher, and you're
No, no. Stares at clearly 5-year-old child with a captain's sword. Maybe you'll have to ask your parents.
Well, you already have children aboard. What's one more? Looks over at B. So you're no child, are you?
I am what I am.
Roland, as you stand there, roll magical for me. With an 11. You don't see it so much as sense a massive figure that is just perched almost right over B's shoulder. There is something of immense power sitting there and just resting with her.
Roland doesn't say anything because, grew up in a place where that's like really super bad. Just gives her kind of a knowing wink.
B winks back. I like him, Leifei. He can stay.
For now, before we leave, we need some more time. Roly?
Is that how you've decided to refer to me, sir?
I'm still deciding.
Oh, and are you the one who makes decisions around here?
For now, yeah.
Is that a problem? Amos turns.
Oh, I have no problems following another's will.
Really?
How about we take this somewhere that's not, sorry, buddy, amongst a whole lot of people?
Distraction? Amos says very privately to Leifei.
I don't think we need one. People move aside, especially if
see-
he takes the lead.
You see the crowd start like moving away as you all start marching through it, now staring at you. Donnie behind the counter goes,
All right, so you're hot shit now. That's great. Appreciate that. It's a wonderful thing. What's the next adventure?
Well, we just killed another space badass. Not we, the royal we. I learned that earlier. Killed a local space badass. So we're gonna lay low for a bit. We're thinking Myosinus.
Myosinus. Mudhole. Yeah. I know that the Admiral's been seen out that way.
It would be good to see him again. Oh, and here are my plans. And B will hand over one of her pictures.
Is that the Emperor? Murdered?
Yeah.
That's
And his
wonderful.
tonsils.
Oh, good. Oh, and look at the detail on those tonsils. Excellent. You've been studying these. You look in the mirror.
I mean, sometimes. But I've been hanging out with Clarion a lot. And so, I've seen pretty much the entire crew's tonsils.
Oh, gross. Well,
Yeah, kind of.
So yeah, of course you can stay low. We've got a resting suite here. You can stay out for a little bit if you need to. You need supplies. You need dry dock. You need your ship looked at. How's the Archimedes, by the way? Is it holding up okay?
Not a chip of paint left.
shot to hell, almost exploded.
So, typical week.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started. We had a sill run the show for a little bit.
Sill.
Yeah, it got out of hand real fast. I
What
was putting
about
out fires.
see a sill, slay a sill?
Well, we did that.
Yeah, it's been purged.
It just took a
With
minute before the
extreme
second step.
That's where
prejudice.
the scars came from.
What were you doing with a sill on the ship?
Well, engineering had the bright idea to put the thing inside of the engine, and 3 amputations later, we ripped it out and we disposed of it via complete and utter immolation via engine.
That's part of the problem, though. That's the admiral's out there looking for what he's calling the coalition. The sill seems to be coming back together, converging a little bit here and there on purpose. We can't determine why or how, but he's looking for a method by which to stop it.
The machine god.
That's not a thing.
Yeah. Red Iron said it was right before he blew himself up, so I tend to believe him.
Red
Regardless,
blew himself up.
we're going to need some better cannons and some better firepower. Do you know where we can start?
Well, I mean, where it's April, you can buy whatever you want here.
I mean, do we have repeating cannons?
There are a few cyclical cannons from the old wars still sticking around here somewhere. They're going to cost you a pretty penny, though.
I mean, I lost my hip to a pretty penny, so sure. Gestures to massive hole in their hip.
You regenerated by now, but there is a scar there.
There's no... There is just rope and whatever remained of the belt holding it all together. Amos looks like an undead officer.
You are a tough one, I'll give you that. Could have been an orc.
I think I ate an orc once.
Hey, don't I know you?
He points
Me?
at Know Who.
He's a famous adventurer.
Hey, Hammerman, do you want to come with us for adventure?
I mean, it's better than being bored here.
Yeah, being bored is like being death. And not the cool kind of death, like exploding while saving a crew of pirates. Just the boring kind of death.
Yeah, but the Admiral told me I was supposed to come and take shift here and watch these idiots and see if any of them were worth inducting into the group. None of them seem to be able to pass the morality checks.
Well, sounds like your job is done. Everybody's failed. You're free to go.
Exactly.
Your ship.
I mean, it's not every day someone destroys an entire village or ends up as a legend, so you're going to be sitting here a while. Unless, of course, you decide to reevaluate us as pirates.
I mean, if I reevaluated any of you,
On extended leave.
you want an extended leave? I mean,
No, I'm trying to insinuate that you could go with us for stupid reasons. But
I don't know. It's supposed to be Cutlass's ship. I don't know if I feel right coming on board there without... I mean, Leifei, you were first mate. What do you have to say?
About you getting on the ship?
Hammerman. Hammerman. Hammerman.
What
Yeah.
does Donnie have like a dark past with Cutlass that I don't know?
Donnie was a deckhand on board the Zephyr a long time ago that was injured multiple times because of a nobleman that was on that ship with them, and eventually was turned into a half machine, like war machine, basically, without it necessarily being his idea, more coerced into it. He then proceeded...
I'm sorry.
Then he proceeded to to fight Syl and Athalium and ghostly beings and ancient queens all across the universe in an effort to gain honor stories because he had been disgraced on Rulo.
Being hurt by the noble or the captain of the ship? Who did more damage in the end?
I mean, you sent him straight into the heart of death multiple times as Parlance.
And he came back. He was awesome. He
It's true.
survived.
He did survive all that you threw him into. I can say that.
And now he is also a famous adventurer, so he should join us.
Wait, this is all Strat's fault?
This is all Strat's fault. Yes, this was his previous characters. Basically, the way that Parlance fought was he made this thing into a machine, this person into a machine to fight all of his battles for him. Parlance didn't fire a single shot all season.
Can confirm.
The entire year that we played, he didn't do a single attack. He had other people do it, or he talked them into things. Or he drove his family's coffee trucks into them.
That's how you delegate.
I can confirm this, my God.
Well, if you're tired of doing paperwork, there's always a spot on the ship. Especially if you can cook. By the way, anybody, if you can cook...
You see, like, this bald-headed, short gnome off to the side. You say cook? I can cook. I make all kinds of things all the time. You know, my mama taught me that cooking is the most important thing you can do in a day, because if you're not full and you're not comfortable, you can't do things well during the day. Because you're
I think
busy
we should hire
being
him.
hungry and tired.
Quick question. You're making a Rulolian grilled cheese sandwich with extra mushrooms. Do you go for the dairy or do you go for the eggs when you're trying to get that nice crispy finish on the whey bread?
That's a trick question. They don't have dairy or eggs on Rulo. I would go for serpent skin.
Serpent skin? What kind of serpent?
Kind of depends on what region you're in. But there's these sea serpents that they've got around the inner sand sea that sometimes come up real crunchy. Although you gotta avoid all the little spiky bits, because they'll like leave a hole in your throat when you swallow.
Oh, the hog-nosed flatback, of course.
Yeah, those.
He's good, Captain.
Wow, that shut me up.
Well, Donnie looks over.
I don't know about that one. He's a little sparrow.
Oh, I thought you said sparrow.
Sparrow. Cuckoo nuts.
But that rhymes with sparrow, so doesn't that just make him like even more qualified?
Yeah, you know, I
mean-
think there's a little bit of madness in every sparrow.
Come on, Hammerman, can you imagine what the things that would happen with him aboard? Are you really going to miss all of that adventure?
You really kind of remind me of somebody.
I think his picture's on the wall over there.
No, somebody I used to know a long time ago. Always convinced me to do dangerous and deadly things.
And is he the reason why you're stuck in that dead-end job, being all bored by out of your head? Or was he the reason why you were awesome before?
You got me there.
So, Captain Leifei, what's your decision? Would you like a crazy gnome, or you want to search for a different cook? And do you want Donnie to join the crew?
We'll search for a different cook. We don't need any more madness.
Okay, so you're gonna search for a different cook.
And Donnie can join if Donnie wants to join.
So, you said you're going to Myosinus.
Yep.
There we are. On a mission of begrudging acceptance. Having to do with a whole lot of things and a whole lot more. He sort of thumbs at his necklace.
So, Myosinus is in the midst of a civil war, right?
Again with the Civil Wars.
Yeah.
I've done 2 tours on Myosinus. It is always civil war there.
That
It's
there are
worse than
giant,
Rulo.
giant insects that try to eat you at every turn.
Yes, I remember. We had one that always plagued my platoon. We called them... what did we call them? We called them Carl. Carl the Mantis, because Carl would always show up when you'd least expect it, and then you'd have to try and eat him, but Carl couldn't be eaten. So Carl just crawled away and came back with a new arm the next day.
You had one thing to do, Carl.
Rumors of this agency, I think they're calling themselves the Vincier, that have been melting people with bombs.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
And don't forget the giant toads that swallow you whole. Those
Right,
are
and the giant
disgusting.
toads. Are y'all sure
Yeah,
you
but-
want to go to Myocenes?
Yeah,
We
that's fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. I just wanted to
It's
make sure
great.
you weren't going to back out on me and big cowards before I decided to join.
No,
Well-
I grew up there. It's a nice place.
I need a vacation, and that's the best possible place.
That sounds like a vacation to me.
I mean,
And, what about this fellow, this platinum-haired weirdo?
we'll stick him in the trunk and bring him out when he's useful, as we always do.
If I may ask, politely, I was under the impression that this is a piracy organization. Is it usually this bureaucratic and revolutionary?
Yes, the Admiral insists.
The
Well,
Admiral is a strange individual. Captain Cal, Admiral McCree, I'm sorry.
wait, McCree? He's
well,
McCree?
he was adopted. I mean, he was Admiral Ronan. That's what he goes by, but his legal name is McCree because his mother, the Archon of the University, finished the paperwork. Yeah, long story.
The mithril-plated mom.
Yeah, I guess. I don't see her that. I mean, she's a hell of a
old-
gunshot.
Old nickname.
Anyway, the Admiral does things in a bit of a interesting way. You gotta tell me this. Each and every single one of these vagabonds here has to go through a moralistic test. So, I have to ask you, what was your name again?
Roland St. James September.
Mr. September. You're faced with a situation where, of course, wealth and opportunity lies before you. In one hand, pile mountain of silver and a quick getaway. In the other hand, you've got a group of individuals that happen to be on board this outpost that you're attacking that do not deserve the death that's about to be handed to them. How do you deal with it?
Wherever the path leads me, of course.
And where do your paths usually lead?
Well, this one led me here.
That might be your guide's mistake.
I don't have a guide. It does not make prescriptions. It is not a thing of will.
So tell me this. Where have your footfalls led you in the past?
A surprising amount of violence for a peaceful man.
Violence tends to come to those that are willing to fight for causes. Do you have a cause?
When I was younger, I whooped up on a noble something good who tried to destroy my block. Since then, I've just sort of found myself in the center of calamity after calamity. I presume, given what you've discussed about Myocenes and this sill, that I'm about to be put in the center of another one.
Continuous calamity is kind of our gig.
I can tell. I saw your ship fly in. Looks over at Leifei.
Now, we're not your typical pirate crew. Well, yes, we do. Yeah. Well, we do the loot and the pillage thing and try to take down organizations that happen to hold way more wealth than they're worth. Our admiral wants to make sure that we're leaving the universe as a whole a better place than where we came from. We do not murder innocents. Unless we have good reason. We do not steal wealth from the poor. Unless we have good reason. And, we never leave a sill alive.
See a sill, slay a sill. That's rule number 1. You'll learn the rule.
Yeah.
It sounds to me that a sill has done you harm, collectively. At least this lot that I see myself with. I can't speak for the entire organization. But I characterize the situation well.
Part of the entire organization, the Sill, are an outside influence, something from beyond the Aether sphere. It made its way in. Tried to kill everything, but we took care of it. At least, mostly. It's starting to wake up again.
I tend to deal in more personal matters, ground level, not high-minded. That's not the path, you know. The further away you get from your own perspective, the further away you get from the truth.
You're talking about a nagging voice in your ear and a horrible pain shooting down your arm every time you go against what they determine as right. Oh, you got me talking like that.
Oh, it does not nag, sir, but I understand your meaning.
No, I mean literally.
What?
Literally. That is what they do to their victims.
Mm-hmm.
They stab you in the temple. They whisper in your mental ear. Do something they don't like. Maybe they hijack your arm. Or maybe they put you in an inconceivable amount of pain.
Poor Cullens.
Or
What
maybe
happened to
you get
Cullens?
lucky and you end up like Collins, a brain in a jar as a result of having their entire body hijacked, kidnapped, and repurposed.
We're trying to build him a new body, Donnie.
Well, I mean, if it could be done for me, I'm sure maybe you can figure something out for him.
We found some robot bees. I'm hopeful.
What would you
Not
want
another-
robot bees for?
A hive mind, of course.
So look, if you join the Sparrows, Destiny has a way of kicking you in the teeth. But you'll get to make some changes, maybe to alter the entire direction that this sphere rotates in. That's what we try to do anyway.
When we don't actively have to undo the drama caused by our crewmates.
So, when are we leaving?
We gotta do some shopping first.
And fix grandfather. He's not looking so good.
Well, I'm gonna gather my things up then, if you don't mind. I'll come and... I'll be a consultant that is doing a performance review of you and your ship for an extended period of time.
Ooh, I like that, Donnie. Very creative.
Bring pens and a lot of paper.
Oh, yeah.
I've got the pens. You see him just... One comes up out of his shoulder that he pulls off.
Don't ever change, Ty. Don't ever change.
All right. Well, find yourself a new Yahoo for a cook, and I'll meet you back at the ship. But for now, I got other business to attend to. All y'all Yahoos, sit down and wait for somebody else to attend you. It's not going to be me. Or go find a place to rest. I'm going to go ahead and... I do have to tell somebody else to do this job, so I'll catch you all later.
Okay.
You see Donnie like turn. He spins his hammer around in one hand. You see a little jet of fire come out the end of it, just, and then goes and walks into the back offices.
Bee's gonna look up at Zep and ask, "What do you think of Rolly?"
He's strange. There's something about him that is disconcerting.
I think it's the eyes.
There's
Should
more
we
to
bring him
it.
along?
More to it than that. He seems to be tethered to the Aether in some unique way. It's hard for me to even look at him.
Interesting. We should definitely bring him along then.
I believe that no matter what happens, he has a destiny to fulfill, and it may not... It may go well, or it may bring ruination upon everyone. But keeping him close might be important to us gaining in strength.
We definitely want that. I'll talk to Leifei.
Excellent.
So as we see you all standing there, preparing to speak with Roland again, preparing to go about and start doing a bit of shopping and whatnot, the scene fades as we find our way back to the ship. Clarion, you are there. You've got Scarborough. You've got Carrot. And you're all standing in the kitchen, staring at a bunch of empty crates and boxes. Carrot just digging down, pulls out just a little handful. All right, this is all the flour we have left. There's like nothing more than crumbs in here. Oh, there is a bug. Got it. Here, look. You see like a little cockroach just like flailing its legs. If we take this, we can make it into a sort of like lobster meat, but a very tiny one. Here. You want a bug?
Carrot?
Yeah.
Do you find these things delicious on their own?
Absolutely.
Then you should eat it right now.
Oh.
It is never a good idea to bake hungry.
Scarborough off to the side goes, I hate it when he does that. Yeah. So, yeah, last time I was in here, I gotta apologize. I used up all the potatoes and turned them into, charcoal, which I used to light the furnace later. Because it turned out that worked pretty well, especially when they were coated in all the remaining oil that's all over the floor.
Scarborough?
Yep.
Might I suggest that you stick to maintaining the cannon?
I can maintain the cannon all day, thank you, ma'am.
Indeed.
So,
Carrot, feel
yes.
free to lick up all the oil.
All right, I'll go ahead and clean the floor. Gotcha. Starts just licking the floor, running back and forth with the tongue just draped down to the floor.
I appreciate your unique talents, Carrot.
Excellent. I'm really good at all kinds of things now. It's fun. I know that I'm going to be a superhero when I get older, so I will make sure I know all of the skills and the tricks.
Amazing.
So, give me an aware roll as you're standing there.
Sure.
An 11. Barely. On the edge of your registration, you hear a clattering noise coming from the hold.
She dips her head out the door. Scarborough, where are you?
I'm upstairs dealing with the cannons.
Could you come down to the hold with me, please?
You told me, go do this. Come back here. Walk around. Stand on your head, Scarborough. I see how it is. You see him, like, huffily coming back down the stairs.
I asked you politely. You could politely refuse if you truly do not want to. However,
Look.
I heard something, and I would like backup.
Well, I can appreciate the backup. I have to admit to being a little emotionally flustered because I'm really fucking hungry.
Indeed.
So, what we hear? What are we looking for?
Clarion shows him where she thought she heard the thing.
You both start looking around inside the back. Give me another aware roll. You're not quite able to pick out anything, but as you're like looking through the boxes and whatnot, you see Scarborough just like dive behind one. Oh, got you little bastard! You can't do. You're not supposed to be in. Yeah. You're hey! Let go of me! Oh my God! You know what? I deserve to be here. This is my place. This isn't your place. I mean, it is your place, your ship. But I found this spot here in the back first and snuck into it and intended on riding with you to Myocenas because I used to live there, and now I think I deserve to go back because I do.
Clarion has pulled out a gun and says, "State your name."
You see a halfling standing there and being roughly held in front of Scarborough as he's standing there. Name. My name's Connor. Nice to meet you, robot lady. Please don't blast my head off.
Well, that depends on how you comport yourself.
Comport myself. What word is that? I don't know that word.
Act.
Oh, right. I can act. I can sing. I can do what you want me to do here.
Behave, please.
That is pejorative, madam.
I have a question for you.
What?
Can you cook?
Oh, can I? I can cook. I can cook, I can clean, I can wash things, I can not steal everybody's supplies.
Good, because if you're going to be aboard this ship, you need to earn your passage.
Oh. So, are you like the captain or something?
No,
Oh.
but that is a general rule. The last person to attempt a stowaway was given a similar assignment.
Oh, so you just let stowaways become part of the crew then?
That seems to be a pattern. We do not have many stowaways, however.
Well, I'm your man. If your little furry bat-like rodent friend will unhand me, I would appreciate it, and then I will make do with what supplies you have in the larder.
Good. There's not much. I'm curious to see what you can accomplish.
Oh. All right then. And dusts himself off, and walks into the room and turns and starts looking through the supplies. All right, so where do you keep the food?
Ah, yes. We're fresh out of that.
I see we have some flour. I have that and water. And there's some salt residue. And a scale? Wait. Was that cobalt molting? I
It's
could
entirely
use
possible.
that potentially. Do you like the taste of reptile?
I do not mind it. What do you think, Scarborough?
No, absolutely not. I am not gonna eat any part of carrot.
Then I would avoid it, Connor.
Oh, okay, a friend of yours. I see. Look, I'll just take some of my own goods. I did not know that I had stowed away on a beggar ship. I will help you. Don't you worry. I have some carrots, and I have some turnips, and I have a few hardtack and jerky bits. I'm sure I can make a soup. No problem.
Excellent. See that you feed Scarborough. He seems hangry.
Yes, I am very hangry. When I get angry, my guns get bangy, if you understand what I mean. Do you hit them together often? No, I shoot people with them! Well, that's just a really poor way to phrase that and kind of weird, but I get what you're saying, and I will go ahead and I will just... Yeah, don't you worry. He turns over and he goes over, grabs an apron and puts it on, realizes it's very tight around the chest. Is this a woman's apron? Never mind.
I did not think aprons came in more than one style.
Apparently I put on some weight then. It's really tight around my chest. All right, well, oh. Would you mind untying it? I never learned how to do that.
Of course. Clarion puts it on him and ties a pretty bow in back.
Excellent. This fits just nice. Look at that. I can wiggle my shoulders and everything. All right, so, dinner time. Give me 30 minutes, and I'm sure it will be fabulous.
Excellent. Consider this your application interview.
Okay. Well, now, look at the ingredients. We got a cook here. We got the sink over
And
there.
Clarion
You see,
will send Sheldon to go find the others.
As Sheldon, flies off, we see Clarion standing there. This little halfling inside the kitchen starts dumping stuff into a pot, and then almost without thinking, reaches over and grabs a pan 6 feet away as his arm stretches out and grabs it and brings it back. And we now
Fascinating.
change scenes as we go to a new location. We see the Sparrows, everybody that was inside the base, now sitting around a table having a meal themselves, as they have chosen to dine in an establishment that will be supplying you with food once you have paid them. So who is the first to speak as you all sit down with your new crewmate?
So, Roland, where'd you come from before all this?
Avalon, actually. Down on the lower levels.
Oh yeah, what's
From
that
the
like?
cities?
I'm sorry.
What's it like on Avalon? I haven't been there.
It's a surprisingly vibrant city, full of life and culture. It's also a hellhole.
How difficult would it be to sneak into the palace and set the Emperor on fire after hanging him by his ankle using his tonsils?
Language, young lady.
Oh, sorry, Amos.
Given the challenge that I had offing one of his lesser nobles, I would say it'd be considerable. But if the path takes us there, I'll walk it with you.
I like you.
Have I worked with you before?
You don't recognize this individual, no.
I haven't worked with a lot of Lesren in my day, brother.
I'd assume.
Roland, give me a
Actually-
magical roll as you sit there.
I have a question while you're rolling this roll. As you're rolling your roll, Roland.
Just roll with it.
No, I got it. I remember it. I forgot it for a second there. I was like stalling.
Hold out the tip of your tongue.
Why are you trying to be a pirate?
I'm
Not
trying
that.
to be a pirate, friend.
Oh, you aren't.
Yes.
He smiles.
The path has many lessons to teach us. Few of them are lawless. If I am to collect into myself the whole of mortal existence, then it must be that I see the other side of the blade, as it were. Which is why it was a surprise to me that I found such a depth of organization here and a revolutionary attitude. I would have thought you would have been on the wrong side of things.
Technically, we always are. It's just we always tend to be optimistic about the outcome. Despite the fact that the situation is constantly stacked in our favor, we're put in odd situations, and it's like some god above is trying to mess with us.
That seems accurate. I think before he died, Red Iron called him Ty.
Horrible name. Horrible name. I mean, there's no malice to it. There is no malice to that name. It's kind, it's compassionate, it's caring. Probably a decent guy.
Amos, suddenly you get an ace.
That's all it takes?
I was navigating a very perilous area. I'll take your reward, noble GM.
Lefebvre
Avalon,
raises up his hand and makes the same sign that that Roland had made when he'd first met him. The same question reversed.
Roland looks around the restaurant. Any is it relatively private?
The location that you're at, yes. This is on Saberhold. There are private booths used specifically for back alley deals and whatnot, and to keep people out of your jobs, so that nobody gets one that they shouldn't have, that kind of thing. Less competition that way. So you are in a private place.
Roland just tucks his finger up under the headband, reaches around, unclasps it, lets it drop, and the two ears fly out.
You can see that he's also an elf.
Another elf?
It's not hard to recognize someone trying to tuck their ears, my friend.
No, I know. I've worked with several elves in my surprisingly bloody lifetime.
I figured by the way that you said that, it's hard to live a lawful life when your blood is not.
Oh, the elven side of my blood is probably the most lawful part about me, friend.
You Tyel? You another Tyel we're working with?
Roland, that magical roll is going to fail. Did you want to keep that roll?
I have to.
You have to. That's right. Well, you have one ace.
No, I don't.
You do. You had one to start with, because I gave you one to just be relatively caught up to everybody else.
Oh, that won't be necessary. Roland
Okay.
can just stay in the dark. It's
Well,
okay.
Annika just gave Roland an ace anyway.
Oh, well, now I want to know. Let's do it. All right, let's see how this goes.
Nat 20.
Oh!
Oh!
Aces into 20s every time. Every time
Okay.
right here. Every time right here on Roll for Chaos. Annika, shout out.
So first off, you're going to see something about Leifei that is rather important. But you're going to have to dictate. You have two options here. So obviously, this is a nat 20 after all. The first option is that you identify the gemstone on his chest and see a vision involving it. That's the first option. The second one is that you look into Leifei's face and you see a vision involving him. One or the other.
So, because I am on the path, I am not going to make this choice. Heads is 1, tails is 2.
Yes.
Tails. Leifei.
As you stare into his face and you look at him for a second, you see energies kind of riding on his body. You see there is something in his blood, something deep and commanding. You see that he is a dragon chained to himself. He is someone that is fighting with multiple directions and ideals. And you also see this dual image of him as a scarred and battered and beaten individual, or as wearing a crown filled with gemstones.
Brother Leifei, I feel like I have known you my whole life.
Well, I mean, maybe you've heard of me.
Perhaps that's just the elf in me.
Might just be.
You and I should speak in detail sometime. My vocation prior to deciding to dabble in piracy, which turns out isn't piracy the way I thought it would be, was that of a spiritual counselor to a flock of my own make.
A cult.
Isn't all belief ultimately a cult?
Yes, yes, yes.
When we really boil down to it, like, what is the difference between religion and a cult but state sponsorship?
Amos throws their hands up.
Amen.
Leifei won't say he likes him, but he does.
So we see all of you sitting there. They eventually bring you over dinner. You have something to eat, and then the proprietor sits down. So, I hear you are in need of supplies for the ship. You seem to have been running a little low on food and, I would say, fuel, and pretty much anything you need to make your vessel go. So, where do we start? I have all kinds of specialty packages involving high quality goods and services, of course, or are you not well off as a pirate crew? Should be a real shame, of course.
Rule number 3 is loot, loot, loot. So
I thought it was see it still say so.
That's
No,
rule
that's
That's
rule
rule
number
number one.
There we are. No, we're the Sparrows, so we'll take the best.
Right, Sparrows, best. I hear those words so often. So then you are looking at the 1300 silver package, and he like pushes an envelope across the table.
Well, understandable.
1300, are you trying to rob us?
Of course not.
I
What kind of
think the answer is
business would
yes.
I happen to be manifesting if I worked here upon Saberhold and then, I don't know, swindled pirates who are as likely to off me as they are to purchase my goods?
I mean, we could find a few and show up in the middle of the night.
Are you threatening me, sir, in my establishment?
No, I'm just trying to get a better price.
Let us cool our tongues collectively. Now, friend, if I may share with you a brief word.
You're new to these individuals, right?
In a way, I suppose.
So you might be able to speak some sense into these flighty birds.
What's more important is speaking some sense into you, friend.
Really? No.
Now, I don't know if you recognize the severity of the situation, but if you were to potentially place a crew such as this at risk, you lose not only the current income, but future income that you could withdraw from them. In addition, you risk running afoul of entire organizations simply by not cutting a group in need of a deal at the time that they need it. I assure you, before you speak, a reckoning is coming, and it will be, in fact, profitable.
I like him, Leifei.
If you would please, Preston, give me a charming roll, and if someone wants to assist the good Reverend, you can also roll charming to do so and explain how you do.
I think I'm gonna assist
24.
because. Oh God, I don't think I should. I don't think I.
Oh my God, can I?
Should we?
You can attempt if you'd like to provide a roll, but if you do poorly, you could offset what he's actually done already.
B
Leifei's
just
watching him.
yeah, B just sits back and is munching on popcorn watching.
He turns to you and goes, "My good sir, now I can see your point. And you do look like a group of individuals who can get things done. How about a barter then? I will have my prize if you do but a simple job for me. Of course, nothing major."
Nothing major.
Yes, word through the grapevine is that you're traveling to Myosinus, is that correct?
Maybe. Depends on what's there.
Well, there is a very rare form of mushroom there with psychotropic properties, you understand.
A few psychotropic properties I understand, but is it the kind that you really need or really want?
Well, alongside my general above-the-board service to pirates, I also
Clearly.
operate a dispensary of medications, we'll put it as.
I mean, we can't go without our medications.
If you can provide to me roughly 2 kegs full of this material, powdered of course, I will cut your price in half for what you have asked. Simple as that.
I don't know. Do you think we can do 3 and you can cut it down to 2/3 off? You are talking about a powdered psychotropic.
Yes, a very rare one. Are you sure you know what you're asking about?
No, who? Do you know where to find those mushrooms?
No, who? Give me a brains roll. Yeah, there's a cave filled with giant roly-poly creatures. You believe there are mushrooms in there that you ate and made you go crazy?
Yeah, in a cave, like not so far from here. It's a really nice place to dine, even better than here. But I didn't want to say anything.
I mean, why wouldn't we?
It will be a great way to initiate the new guy.
So, you know where this substance is, and you can provide me 3 barrels of the powdered substance. Now I have to let you know, this is, of course, a gentleman's agreement between all of us. And if you screw me on this, I will blacklist you from this establishment in the future and put a bounty on your heads. Okay?
It's ultimately not my decision. That is up to whoever is in charge. I can tell you this, the path teaches us that there is no difference between a want and a need, so there is no shame in desiring whatever this is.
Of course not. And Amos Leifei know who all got +1s, so did Rolly. For their next roll made, just so you're aware from Camsteer. Thank you very much. So, Leifei, since technically you're acting captain, what do you say? That would be a 3rd cost of, they said 1,700.
1,300, he said. Don't you mess with me. I work retail, Ty.
Fine. So it's a 1,300. Divided by 3. What is that? That's about 425?
430. Yeah.
433. So we'll say, 420, and they'll give you this deal.
420?
420.
That's the best price.
All right. So you agree? He puts his hand out to shake it and seal the deal.
Yeah. Bring the barrels to the ship. We'll fill them.
My crew will arrive shortly. Give them 4 hours. No more, no less. We will come out, provide everything into your hold, and we will expect the return in, well, trip here to Myocenes. We'll be generous, and we'll say 2 months?
Of course.
That's doable.
Yes, Annika.
Provided we don't install another Sylvia.
Yes.
Again, for the 3rd time this year.
So, was there anything else we can help with, or would you like some dessert now?
Well,
I'm
what would
not
you
up-
offer to somebody that's helping out your whole establishment?
You ever had something called a creme tart?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not up on my pirate euphemisms. I thought when you said dessert, you had another deal for us.
No. I only make one deal at a time with individuals that I don't have a working relationship with.
What he means to say, Amos broadcast this directly to Rolly. What he means to say is, if we get this right, this might mean future endeavors, maybe even a discount price.
Can Roland pop an overload and shoot a message back?
Yeah, give me a magical roll.
Wait, I don't think they have to, because Amos can open up the door
Yeah,
to conversation.
Amos is able to do two-way conversation with his mental
Oh, I
capabilities
guess
now.
that would be up to Amos.
There's a mental door there. Do you open it?
Yeah, Roland is going to attempt to open it.
And there's Amos waiting for them with the table, mentally speaking, and they sit down, they have the talk and the yop yop.
I caught his meaning as with the professional association thing. I know how these deals work. I used to work very closely with unions, mercenary groups, church grandmothers. It's all the same.
Ever worked in Eastfort?
Where?
Eastfort. Albion?
No, never made it that far outside of my block, honestly.
Shame. Nice city. Why am I telling you this?
Yes, this sidebar is going to get suspicious very quickly. We are making extremely conspicuous eye contact.
The two of them are just staring at each other silently.
Licks eye.
Lovingly.
Amos, as the longer that the dear Preston has been inside of your mind, the more you're getting this kind of floral scent and this warm, fuzzy feeling in your head.
Like an aphrodisiac.
Kind of. Kind of.
That was literally the first thing that just popped into my mind.
But like a good buddies aphrodisiac,
Like a good
not
buddies.
the other.
Not the...
Amos is going to see if there's any sort of, not now but later, there's going to be they're going to stare at them like they're going to stare at them. 3, 2, 1. Amos is going to see if there's any sort of spiritual jiggery pokery going on with this Reverend Lovejoy character.
Give me a magical roll.
Now or later?
You can do it now. You're staring at
No,
him.
no, we're gonna do it later. We're
Okay, you wait.
It's
All right.
There's gonna be kissing if this keeps up.
Oh, jeez.
Have you seen a lesbian kiss, Ty?
I mean, never. Not really. I haven't drawn it, so it doesn't exist
It
yet.
involves a lot of tongue.
Next stretch goal for the
Kickstarter is
Oh.
like the Aether and Steamworks After Dark art book. Is that what you're saying? Oh, Jesus. No.
No, stop! Internet, hold! Where were we? Oh, right. The preacher and the Big Daddy Lesbian were sitting in the room and making lovey-dovey eyes at each other as the pirates were doing a deal. Anyways, back to the show.
So the agent like turns and nods to everybody before leaving the booth that you're all sitting within, leaving just the 5 of you there right now. Anybody have anything
People
to
like
say
that
before
are
we
all-
change the scene?
Oh, just looks over at Lefe. People like that are all the same.
Are they?
Yeah. They make up the numbers in their head, but what they really want is just underneath the surface.
What do you think they wanted out of us?
Magic mushrooms, I presume.
Ty?
Perhaps more.
Yes.
Amos being Amos doing Amos stuff. Do they know anything of Amos being former everything Imperial Special Army guy thing? Have they ever dealt with this sort of thing before?
Drugs?
Drugs.
Thanks.
I mean, that's up to you, how closely entrenched you were with them. Sometimes they showed up in military crews. Sometimes they were in shakedown deals. The university has a strict self-medication policy while on the campus. I mean, you worked there as security for a while, so...
All right. I'm gonna say that Amos chimes in a little bit, mentioning a couple drug busts that they've done, but nothing on the pharmacy level. Just enough to say, hey, this is good black market stuff. We should capitalize on it. And then give the microphone to someone else. Because the character is stuck in a feedback loop. Help!
I hear that you can lick toads there too.
No, can you lick toads on Myosinus?
Well, it depends on the type of toad. I mean, if it's bigger than your head, it probably would try to lick you back. Anything smaller than that is a fair game, obviously. It's the rules of nature, to be honest. You can lick anything that, you can get your hands on. So not just frogs, even the trees, and even the giant bugs that will try to suck on your blood as you're licking them. So
Wait,
No.
isn't that a marriage proposal in some species?
well, Myosinus is not like that tolerant with interspecies thing, so it's kind of a gray area. It's
Everything
something
is a
about
gray
that.
area.
Yeah, there's a lot of swamps in there. I get it. Ha!
And on
So-
that final joke, I think we'll scene fade from here. So where does the
Sheldon,
crew...
I wanted Sheldon to come in, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then Sheldon flies in while you're all talking there and just hovers. What
Hey,
is-
hey, guess what? There's a stowaway.
Another one?
Another one?
And then
Another one?
Sheldon pipes through a message from Clarion explaining the situation.
So, explains that there was a stowaway on the ship, and it is now going to be tested for their metal to see how good of a cook they are.
Sounds like we found our cook.
We should give him some of the mushrooms we found. See what he can come up with.
Ooh. Grilled
I was
cheese
gonna
with
say-
mushrooms.
Captain. Do I grab everyone and go to the ship? Do we all go to the ship and celebrate? Or do I race out and just kick the guy overboard? What do?
Right. I thought you already heard.
I did. Still trying to make up my mind.
Sparrows fly free. Do what you want.
Boops behind the nose, sits back down.
And on that note, as we see them all sitting around the table, we see their supplies being loaded onto the Archimedes, the ship itself being patched up and repaired. Maybe even some modifications added on. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out in the after scenes here. But for now, this scene fades to black as we come to a close for Sparrows for tonight. Thank you all for being here. We have brought our new character on board, and next week? Yes, next week we are heading to Myosinus, the showdown, with some individuals that exist there. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We're going to go around the table here. We're going to say our fare thee wells, and we're going to state what is the first thing your character is going to do when they get to Myosinus. And we'll start off tonight with Gwen. You're up again. Do your socials, and then give us what B's going to do when you get to Maya.
Oh, sure. Hello again, everybody. Gwen McSherry on just about everything. And normally you can find me over there in the chat, modding it up. You can also sometimes find me doing the news on Tuesdays with Doyle. The first thing that B is going to do when she gets to Myosinus, I don't think she's been there since they rescued Amos when he was chained up. So probably the first thing she's going to do is just enjoy the air all around her and maybe throw some random wind blades at people.
Randomly just chopping some people up.
Yeah, you know, like you do.
Like you do at random. Sometimes, what's a little murder between strangers? It's just a good time to be had by all. It's just a prank
Exactly.
throw.
It's a party. It's how she says
It's
hi.
how you say hi. You know, head's gone. Hi, because it's flipping through the air. It's really high. You come in to see that.
Exactly, and it makes it much easier to boop their snoots.
Absolutely. All right, Nohu. Hey, Strat. Who are you? And what are you thinking?
Hello, everybody. I'm Stratfall, playing as Nohu, the Tinkerer. Thank you for being with us this wonderful evening, night, whatever time of the day is for you. Hopefully, you'll be back with us next week. You know, Thursday, there's this little thing called Dreams of Stone and Dumb, but, you know, that's just what I call them due to their, you know, magnificent planning. Otherwise, just wait a day more for all of your wonderful know who needs and know who necessities. As far as what know who's doing, the first thing he arrives into Myosinos, well, he's going after his map, his big map. He's been working on it, on that thing for months. It's sure to be like over there, but there's that doubt about, well, is this still the future or is this the past actually? Because there's two, or there was two of him. So maybe because Carrot is still alive, that means this is actually the past. So hopefully the map is still there. If not, well, he'll have to work it out again from scratch.
Have to figure it out as you go along, the way that you plan for everything.
One step at a time.
I'm sure your map's probably still somewhere where your other supplies are. Maybe in the bottom of some ancient glowy cave thing that had robots in it. Who knows?
All wet. Damn.
That's what she said. Never mind. Jackal. Amos, your turn.
Hey folks, I'm Mac Jackal Ranger, and when I'm not strong arming Ty into data moshing for the recap, which, by the way, I didn't expect. Nicely done. Data moshing is an actual word. Look it up. City. You can find me on Tuesdays. I do the recap. If, let's say, you go out of town and you miss a few episodes and your internet's cut, you can easily just sit down and catch a 5-minute recap of it. And I'm totally not upset that I got called out on stream for it. I also do a bit of streaming here and there, usually late in the evenings. We're currently working on Tormented Souls. When that doesn't work, Singularity. Twitch, Mac. Stop in, blackmail me, and hang out. Die.
What's Amos gonna do when he arrives on Myosinus? First thing.
Well, Amos is misremembering a lot. Probably they're gonna try and find that white Lesrin that they usually fall back on. Maybe meet up with some old Imperial friends. Maybe just go for a swim and just relax as the world burns.
Relaxing as the world burns. That's how I feel every day.
I mean, relaxing in the water while the world burns? That's how you get a good hot tub going.
Absolutely. Get the bubbles just right. How else do you boil a toad? So moving on to Nora and Clarion.
Hi, I'm Nora, aka Zedane. You can find me here every Friday except for the weeks when we don't. And on those weeks, you can find me playing Avery, the troubled bean, over on Misguided Souls. I'm having a lot of fun with that role. And you can always find me over on the Cornfields and Kobolds show every couple weeks or so. We just recorded our Christmas episode a couple months in advance because Devin is an anxiety boy and I love him. Our DM / editor. And it's gonna be a fun one. So look for that in our feed around December time. And I think it's not so much what Clarion is going to do when she gets to Mycenae, it's what she's doing on the way there. And when she gets a chance to go out into the station, she spends most of her pay on new materials, and she spends some time looking at fashion, at haircuts, and she fashions herself a new hair plate, probably in a dark black. And she's going to update cosmetic details about herself. She might experiment a little bit with making herself taller or shorter, or getting a different electroplating on her components, just to make it look different.
I mean, you gotta get gussied up, right?
Not so much gussied up as disguised.
Disguised. You don't want to be recognized by certain individuals. Got it. All right. From there, Benjamin and Roland.
Hey everybody, I'm TT Benjamin. You can find me on Twitter at TTBenjamin1. My cat just threw up right behind me. That's why I keep looking this way, because it's like a train wreck. I can't look away. My primary program is the Lawful Great Adventures podcast, currently on hiatus because we are between campaigns. I just delayed the launch of campaign 2 to January because boy, my life sure is. I used to play Red Iron on this show until circumstances related to creative differences between Red Iron and a capital pirate ship caused to have to exit. So now I play the Reverend Parson role in St. James September. I'm very happy to introduce this character. He is super anachronistic to this show, so that's gonna be fun. The first thing that Roland is going to do at Mycenae, given that Roland, I don't believe, has been to Mycenae, probably Roland is going to spend a lot of time and energy attending to the spiritual needs of the crew, and then once he's sort of got a sense for where everyone's head's at, meditate on the beach in order to achieve a state of divine conjugation.
Right. You gotta conjoin with that divine energy for sure.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
So is it going to be a conjugal visit to the beach?
No, it's not that kind of conjugation. Think more like a sentence. Okay. All right. Listen.
Put it all together.
Listen. It's not a cult.
The sentence is salted fish.
It's not a cult.
Cult adjacent.
Everything's a cult when you think about it. That's just all right. And speaking of cults, the cult of Kai, Leifei, our Lord and Savior. Your turn.
Blessed is the trip.
The cult of Kai. Right. Kai Roche, me play video games sometime. Me play D&D sometime. Me play TTRPG sometime. Friday, Sparrow. Me play Leifei.
Why am I getting flashbacks to Bard slightly?
I haven't done that voice in forever. It hurts.
It's a painful one, yeah.
Right. Leifei, whenever he goes to Mycenae, he's probably going to skateboard down the ramp, do some rad trick, come out, and the first thing he's going to do, he's going to go to a music shop.
Collect some new tunes.
Yeah. That's the last thing you promised the captain.
So I will give you all a after discussion simple scene as we see the Archimedes flying away and heading towards Mycenae, the giant gem of the planet up ahead, all laden in cloud cover, gray and bleak, because it is mostly water and swamps. You also notice a rather large fleet of Empire ships ringing the planet, as they have imposed a quarantine. No in, no out. And that is the end of the scene. So we'll have to see how you all make it beyond the wall of Empire ships to travel to your goal next week.
Can I say this is probably one of the only episodes like where it's just been such a palpable feeling. I want to keep just going.
Keep going. Oh, maybe someday we'll have a special double feature or some shit. But you know what? We're all adults here, and we have other lives and need to rest and relax once in a while. And this does it for some of us, and sometimes it's just a little more than we need. Who am I kidding? I'd play games forever if I could. But I'm Ty. A lot of even star on DeviantArt. DeviantArt. I keep saying that. I haven't used DeviantArt in years because it sucks and is also full of deviants. Worst kind of people ever. Jeez.
Big surprise.
Anyways, live and star on Twitter and Twitch. I sometimes stream games as well, and of course, I run this game and I run Dreams of Silver and Stone on Wednesdays. You know what? I'm just gonna say this.
Thursday.
Show up here tomorrow, because tomorrow at 4 Pacific Standard Time we have the Unremarkables showing. This will be a brand new show. It's set in the Masks system and has a bunch of crazy wahoos that have some really neat characters and are all a lot of fun to watch play. So don't miss that tomorrow here on Roll for Chaos. Thank you all for watching, and keep an eye on all of our other content. If you like this game, you want to get it, yeah, watch us. Sometimes we'll tell you where it's at. I'm not going to extend this any further. Goodbye, good night, and stick around for the raid if you want some extra points. Bye, everyone.
Roll for
Meanwhile,
Chaos
Miles
is
Davis!
not a cult. We are not a cult.
We are not a cult.
Listen to me.
We're
We are
not a
not a
cult.
cult.
We're
We
not
are
a cult.
not a cult.
It's not a